What's up, and welcome to another episode of Dad Got Tech. What are we going to talk about today? Today we're going to talk about 4K and if it's worth it.
Who got this? Dad got this.
If you're like me and a little bit of a tech nerd, you want the latest and greatest everything. You want to have the best TV. You want to have the best resolution camera you can have. You want to have the best of anything you can. And 4K is that buzzword in the recording industry right now. Now, there are cameras that do 8K. We're not even going to get into that. So to talk about 4K, the first thing we need to talk about is, what is it? All 4K is 4K is simply a resolution. Think of it as how big your video is. The bigger your video is, the cleaner it's supposed to look, the crisper it's supposed to look. A lot of 4K is aimed at people who watch things on really high definition screens. Think giant TVs or high-end projectors where the image is really big. So since the image that you're looking at is really big, you need what you're feeding it to be very large so that it doesn't get soft and look bad and things like that. Now, for us YouTube scrubs, do we need 4K? In all honesty, no. It's that simple. 4K on YouTube has a couple of things going against it. Look at your analytics on your YouTube channel. I would almost guarantee that the high majority of people who watch your videos are watching them on a mobile device. They're watching them on their phones. Guess what? 4K on a phone is useless. The screen is so small, and the way our eyes work, you can't tell a 4K image shrunk down to that small being any better than a 1080 or even a 720 image in some cases. It doesn't work that way.
That's not how it works. That's not how any of this works.
So, do you need to film in 4K? Probably not. All right, guys. No, we're not gonna end the video there. I could end the video there, but you don't necessarily need to be filming in 4K. Do I film everything in 4K? Yeah, I do. Couple of reasons I like to do that for me and my channel. One thing that filming in 4K will get you is the ability to zoom in and punch in on an image and not lose quality. So if I wanted to do an extreme close-up on my face, I can do that, and it's not going to get all blurry and blown out because there's so much more detail in the raw file that I can blow it up and make it look nice. Now, how much nicer? That all depends on a lot of things like your camera and lens and a whole bunch of stuff. But in general, by having a 4K image, you're gonna have the ability to do a little bit more in post as far as cropping and zooming. You can even add artificial motion to your shots a little bit easier by cropping in and then moving the camera using keyframes and things like that. By having a 4K image, that's gonna be a lot easier and it's gonna look better when you do it. You can do all that in a 1080 image, but it may not look as crisp and as clean when you do it. And you definitely can't zoom in as far as you could on a 4K image. But just how much of a difference is it? So I'm gonna take some sample footage of me, of the stuff behind me, using my Canon M6 Mark II and some footage on my iPhone because the camera will also change how things look. And I'm gonna film in 1080 and I'm gonna film in 4K. I won't tell you which one is which. And then I want you guys to tell me in the comments which one is which. We'll reveal it at the end, but I'd like you guys to guess first. I paused and my brain has stopped. I don't know what the next plan was. I was gonna say something, 4K.
Screw it, let's roll the footage.
Here is some footage shot on my Canon M6 Mark II of my limited edition Lego set. I'll be using this along with a couple other stupid Star Wars things that I have laying around to do the demonstration. If you would consider subscribing if you're liking the content and you're liking what I'm doing here, I'd appreciate it. It helped me out.
Okay, now that we've seen the difference, you can kind of figure out that you don't have to film in 4K if you don't want to. A lot of times, filming in 1080 for most everything, like just a walking around vlog and stuff like that, is gonna be perfectly fine. The benefits are they're easier to work with the files. The files are smaller, they'll take up less space on your device, and you can still export your video as a 4K video so that when YouTube sees it, they say, oh, it's 4K. How do you do that? Really simple. Using Premiere or DaVinci or Final Cut, all you do when you export, take a 1080 movie, select 4K as your export resolution, and that's it. It's gonna do what's called upscale, and it's gonna make your footage 4K footage. And it does a really good job of it. A lot of the stuff that I've done in the past, I have upscaled from 1080 to 4K, and it's great. Most people would never know the difference, especially if they're watching on a mobile device. Now, iMovie is a little bit trickier to do this upscaling. You have to trick it. Honestly, I'm not a big iMovie fan. I use Premiere Pro, and I'm gonna look into DaVinci Resolve because it's a free program and it's supposed to be just as good as Premiere in a lot of ways. And for most of the people who don't have to have all the Adobe suite, it's a great option. So that's coming soon. All right, were you able to tell the difference between the 1080p footage and the 4K footage? I bet you weren't. So next time you're looking at stuff and you're like, you know what, I need 4K. Or if you're looking at a new camera and you're like, it doesn't have really good 4K. Think about yourself whether you really need that or not. You probably don't. Now, I bought a camera that has good 4K because I'm that guy. And I want to have crazy good 4K. My 4K is not even that crazy good. It's okay. There's much better cameras than the ones I bought. So that's it. Even when Dad's telling you that you don't need something that you probably just kind of want to have, Dad doesn't do outros. So that's it. Guess what? That entire talking head segment, that wasn't filmed in 4K. That was filmed in 1080. This is filmed in 4K. See? Told you.
Thanks for watching, and if you like my videos, please go ahead and subscribe and hit the notification bell. It'll really help me out. Here's a couple videos that I think that might help you out in your YouTube journey. Take care. I don't know why I said that. That just is awkward. All right. How do I end this? Okay, I'm just gonna stop.